Good morning. Today we're gonna go over a hand that I played last night. We didn't see the showdown, so it's gonna be tough to see what the villain was playing. But anyways, I've got Ace Queen offsuit, mid position technically, but we're down to 7-handed. So it's to me, I open raise. It's my mid position open raise. Ace Queen off's pretty good. Raise to 3. That's fine. I get actually 2 callers. I get the button and I get big blind. I think this button is the player of interest. He's playing 17-11. I've played with him quite a bit. Right now, he's got a race first in stat of 17%. His 3-bet stat is 5%. When we look at his pre-flop stats, from the button he plays 21% with the raise first in of 28%. So if it's folded to him, he's typically going to be raising. He doesn't get out of control with his steals, only 31%. But he's going to be tighter. His call 2-bet stat from the button's only 9%. So that's not too high, and even when you look at his 3-bet by position, 3-bet on the button is 5%. So when we think about what hands is he doing this with, what hands is he going to be raising, what hands is he going to be calling, I think he's calling with a range something like this, where he's got pocket pairs, he's got some broadways, and maybe some suited connectors. His 3-bets that I've seen, so his 3-bet range I have is king plus 10. So he's got 10s. He's probably also doing with jacks and queens. So I'm going to say 10s plus. He has it with ace queen suited and ace king off. So I think that's probably a decent 3-bet range. Not quite 5%, but 5% 3-bet range. So maybe he throws in maybe like an ace 5, ace 4 as a 3-bet possibly. But this is what we're going to go with. As far as villain 1, he's loose. He could have anything. He could possibly have anything. He's 16, only 16 hands in, already at 44% VPIP. So flop it is an ace. I think this helps my range. Definitely, I should be ahead of villain 5. Definitely have range advantage. We are 3-way, so I think we're playing a little bit more straightforward. With my top pair, second kicker, went ahead and fired. I didn't want to just check and have it go check behind, so that any of the hearts can get a free call, or maybe even a hand like 7-8 or 7-9, like he could have, or like 9-8. I think some of those hands are going to call, just to kind of take one off, because what if I don't have an ace? What if I have king queen? What if I have jack 10? So I raised half pot. Both of them call, and I think that is surprising. I'm going to guess this guy calls. I'm sorry, this guy calls just because this guy calls. When we look at fold to c-bet, he doesn't really fold to c-bet much on the flop, which I think it makes sense when you're playing a tighter range. This guy, who knows? So then the turn comes and it's a 2. It doesn't look like it should help anyone. So I go ahead and fire out half pot again. And this is where villain raises me about half pot. And now we have to think, what is he doing this with? Villain 1 folds and it's on me. Out of his range, I have to ask, is he doing this with like ace queen, ace jack, or ace jack, ace 10? I really don't think so. Do I think that 2 hit? Did he play ace 2, ace 5, ace 6? No, I don't think so. Could he have played 5, 6? Yeah, possibly. I mean, this is 9.35. If he has 6, 5, that's 9.65. It's entirely possible that he could have had 2 pair, or what my thought was, maybe he had a pocket pair. Maybe he had 5s or 6s, hit trips, and was waiting to the turn to raise. So I ended up folding this, and I'm just curious what GTO would say. So let's take a look. Here, we got GTO. So does look like we can be betting a little bit. with our aces. Ace king, definitely a bet. Ace queen suited, mostly a bet. Ace queen offsuit, we're going to be mixed, about half and half. This time I did bet. Looks like we're betting, 5-6s. We're betting these straight draws here. We're betting a lot of the insides. Definitely, I think taking advantage of some of our solid cards. I did consider possibly checking here with top pair second kicker. Maybe checking flop and hoping maybe villain 5 bets and then we check call it, because I do think that's a possibility. If I check villain bets, we're calling it. And probably would be calling then turn bet as well, but I would decide to lead out here. So I bet, and villain's going to be calling. With his range, you kind of think, he's calling with those hands. I didn't think he called with 2s, but he does have these straights. He does have like ace queen, ace jack. GTO suggests you should raise with 6s, with trips. I'd say okay, but we do have a third player in the hand, so that could affect decisions. So he called, and then it was a 2 of spades. And now once we bet, it looks like we're going to be betting a little bit more. I didn't have the ace heart, so we had ace diamonds, queen of clubs. So ace diamonds, queen of clubs is just go ahead with a bet here. I did do that, and then villain raised, and he's going to be raising a very small percentage of the time. And he was raising, if you saw it, with 6s, basically 3 of a kind. No flush draw. I mean, that's it. You could raise a little bit with 8-7, really small slice of it. But I think he's raising with trips, and then you can kind of see that, yeah, GTO suggests that I should be calling here. And my problem is, okay, so if I call, what do I do then? I would check to him on the river, and then what if he goes ahead and bets more? I mean, he's already bet 30. We're gearing up. If I call, we're at a 80 big blind pot at that point. He's probably just gonna shove all in. Could I really call him if he shoves all in? I mean, if I check he bets, it says villains, if he bets, GTO is saying that I fold here. I fold my ace queen. So if I'm gonna be folding ace queen, should I, why call? I was trying to think what turn cards are going to be good for me. Maybe a queen, but even then, you don't see a whole lot of players raising. And when I checked the stat, and I did this before I folded, I checked the turn and said, okay, well, what percentage of the time does he raise a c bet? 1 out of 20. This is the second time that he's done it. I don't think that's enough. I don't think he's a habitual raiser. I think he plays his hand pretty honestly. You saw it fold to c-bet in positions 21%, and then fold to turn c-bet 67%. I think he's turn honest here when he's in position. So when he raises me, I think he's got a hand. I think he has at least 2 pair, possibly trips. So I'm not sure if I understand the GTO. I understand the GTO line. We're playing against a player who's mixing up his game, but I don't think he's playing that way. So let's go ahead and kind of fix it and say, well, how do I think he is playing? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 6-5 here, so that there is a 2 pair. I mean, that is entirely possible. It didn't change a whole lot. We're going to build the tree again, and then we're going to run it. And what I am going to do is when I get the bet, I'm going to make sure that he only calls with, I guess we'll do this. Can I go ahead and get this together? I'm going to say he's calling with those hands. And of course, we don't have ace 5, ace 6. I don't want him to raise with any of those. I think those are just going to be straight call. I think he's going to be straight call with a 7-6. I think he's going to be a call with, let's say, 4s. I don't know. We'll see what GTO says, but we'll run the solver and we'll come back. All right. Took a little bit of time. Make sure we don't lock it first. Run the solve first, and then you go ahead and lock it. So now that we know he's really not going to be 3-betting us on the flop, it looks like we are c-betting most of the time here. So we bet. He calls. So you can see I basically changed it. I probably should have changed 9-8-2. I didn't see that one. But I don't think he's raising here. I think he's calling with his ranges or with his hands. Send 2 spades comes out. And now at that point, since we bet most of our range, we're going to be checking, a big part of the time now, just because we've got so many hands that missed. Really, our bets are going to be, some premium hands and some, I think, some decent, real good draws, like ace-3. I think pocket 3s or some. See, these are kind of bluffs. You get your gut shot. I can see queen jack, queen 10, of hearts. Ace queen. Sometimes bet, sometimes fold. What was this? Ace of diamonds, queen of clubs. So ace of diamonds, queen of clubs. You can see 33% I'm betting. Most of the time we're checking this. So I think I probably could have checked this. If I check it and he bets, then I do think I'm calling at this point. If I check and he bets, I should call. If it comes down to hearts, I'm checking again. If he bets 19, I'm going to probably be forced to call. If it comes, let's say 10 of clubs, I check. If he bets, I still think I'm going to be forced to call. So I think once I take the check call line on the turn, I'm going to probably have to take the check call on the river too. But I didn't. I bet. And now when he raised, I think now we're looking at raising 5s and 6, trip 5s, trip 6s, and that 5-6. So, when he raised, GTO is saying we're probably going to be sometimes calling, sometimes folding. If I call, I'm going to check. If he bets, probably the pot, I'm just going to be folding at that point. So let's change this and say, I think based on how he plays, I don't think he's raising with ace, queen, ace, jack. I think these hands are just going to be check calling. They're going to, or not check calling, they're going to call down because they have a showdown hand. They have a playable kicker. But these 5, 6s, 6, 5, I think he's raising with those because he's got trips, and he's hoping that maybe I call with like ace, king, ace, queen, and then he's going to take my stack. So let's run the solver and we'll be back. All right. Still betting 86% now. Our bet's going up because we know that he's probably not going to be calling with just trips or 2 pair. He's probably going to be raising. So at this point now we can bet 9.5. If he raises us, then you can see we're folding. If he just calls, then I think we're probably going to go for 3 streets here, because I think ace jack, ace 10 is going to call. I think ace queen is also calling, but I think we're going to be getting called by the ace jack. So I really do kind of like my play. It kind of goes back to don't pay him off. And when you think about, my own hand, what does he think of my own hand? I've got 77 hands at this table. I'm playing tight. I know if I have 2,000 hands with him, he's probably seeing that I'm, I think, tighter than him. So this just hits my wheelhouse with ace king, ace queen. I fired twice. There are times when I've kind of got caught, c-betting with nothing. Is this one of those? Probably not. So I think in his mind, he's like, I can beat aces. Maybe he bluffed me. Hey, if he bluffed me, good. But as you saw with his 3-bet stat, it's not super high. Raise the c-bet, 1 out of 20. This is the second time that he's done this. I don't think that's enough. Now, if I looked at that stat and it was 5 out of 20, I think I'm going to be more inclined to call because this is a situation where he could be betting to try to get me off a hand, try to represent something big. And you do see that, but with a guy that doesn't really raise a whole lot, I think he's playing straightforward. And at this point, it is just simply, let's get out of the way, let's give up and go for the next hand. I really did want to call, but kind of have this idea is like I'm not with how he's playing. You know, when we ask what is he doing this with, I don't see him doing this with a hand that I beat. I don't see him doing this with, you know, hearts. And maybe he does. Maybe he has ace queen of hearts. Maybe he has ace jack of hearts. So he's got top pair, jack kicker. That's, I mean, he's free. I mean, in a way, that's I'm ahead with my kicker, but he's got that draw. So chance that he does that, I mean, yeah, I believe that there is some chance, but not very high. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this hand. Wish we could have seen what he played, but it is what it is. If you like this hand, look tomorrow for another.